Here is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of June 17th through the 21st. I will go over price targets, have a gap recap from June 10th through the 14th, and update the chart as well. Hi everyone, it's Dow on the Dow. First up is Tesla. We ended the week at $178.01. To the north side from where we are takes us back to the middle of the trend and the median and the baseline at 184.17. Above that, at 2 standard deviations, roughly 192.40, 196.50, and another level of resistance and a potential take profit area, $200.80. To the south side, back at support, 175.70, 171.37, and another level of support and a potential buy-in area as well, 167.07. Now for your gap recap. This is an extension from the previous week, and it touched right here. So let me clean that up and delete. That was a gap fill to the north side at 186.26. And that is done, done, and done. And this gap, also from the previous several weeks, is still in play. I have no idea when it's going to hit, so I just extend it out, and I will just leave it right here and clean that up as I go. And then we have this gap still in play as well. That will take us to 207.42. Note the sell-off here, clear sell-off at resistance. Next up is Boeing. Again, I'm just looking at this line to this line, Friday to Friday, this time period. And we are still in a downward channel with Boeing. Let me hit this Option R to reset. Now first, your price targets for the upcoming week. We ended the week at 177.27 to the north side, one level of resistance. Again, turn on your VWAP, Bollinger Bands, draw your trend lines, whatever you like to do. And that will give you also key areas within -2 and 2 standard deviations. Okay, 178.61, 179.52, and roughly 180.40. And back at the middle of the trend, very close to where we are, 176.81. And let me move this over one tick. There we go. 175.06, 174.17, and 173.30. Note the bounce here at support and support, sell off at resistance. I'm going to try to clip through these because I have a lot of tickers and the videos take me about 30 minutes or 25 minutes, so I'm going to try to make this even shorter. All right, 112.05 is where we ended the week for Dash, the middle of the trend. Oh wait, I have to go back to Boeing because I forgot the gaps. So this gap is still in play from last week. So this will extend into this upcoming week. Again, I have no idea where it will touch and if it will, but right now we're going down, so we are going farther away from here, so I don't anticipate it quite to touch. Definitely not on Monday to fill out. So 180.63, and then this gap to the upside, 190. And am I looking at any others? And I am. So we have this one still in play. Just extend it out. And this one as well. But again, moving farther away from these upper gaps. Oh, I'm still getting over my cold or coughing attack that I've been going through. It's been terrible. All right, so now we're going to go to dash. Let me reset that at, okay. So we ended the week 112.05 to the north side, back to the middle of the trend and the baseline where price always goes to get to the upside, or if we're up here somewhere, we are on our way down, then we always pass through the middle of the trend. So again, roughly 112.58, 114.72, 115.78, 116.90. To the south side, 110.45, 109.35, 108.30. As for the gaps, this one opened up last week, so this will be carried over into this week, taking us to 113.69, very doable within -2 and 2 standard deviations all day long. That's what I anticipate. Any movement outside of that is an outlier and a clear buy and sell signal. All right, so the upper gap will take us to 127.01. Unfortunately, though, we're going in a downward channel, and I think that's the only one I'm tracking. Yeah. Option R. Let's go to Nike. This one's a hot mess. We'll just take it week by week here. Day by day, week by week. All right. So we ended the week at 93.39 to the north side. Oh, let me fix this. 94.18, 94.59, and 94.97. To the south side, 92.59, 92.17, and 91.77. Now for your gap recap from the previous week. Ignore all the horizontal lines. Previous price support and resistance, and then also some of my buy and sell lines in the yellow, in the green and in the pink. All right, we have this gap still in play, taking us down to 89.20. And this one's still in play, taking us to 90.52. This one's still in play, taking us to 91.04. And this will be the first target, and I think we could possibly touch it right there on Tuesday if we continue our downward trajectory. And what about the upper channels, you ask? $100.78 still in play. Seems like we're never going to get there. Again, watch out. We are still going downward on the 5. The next one is HYG. Again, I'm looking from this week to this week, and it's not looking good either. In a downward channel, but not as steep as Nike. All right, here are your targets to the north side and resistance: 77.17, 77.61, 70. Oh, what is this? 77.83. I cannot stop the recording because it'll just take me too long to redo this. 77.83 and 78.04. And since I'm doing this for the high cost of free 95, I think you'll have to put up with me. 76.74, 76.52, and 76.30. Now, for the gaps, this one is still in play. taking us to 76.58. What happened here? This gap touched right here, so that is no longer in play. Closed to the upside at 77.09. This one touched right here, so this is done as well. 77.26. And it appears I have not cleaned up this chart in a while. So this one is still in play. And this one taking us to 77.75. And what is, okay, I'm just marking these out, I guess. Just, oh, this one can be deleted at 77.18. That one as well. CVS. First, for your price targets, after I get a drink of water. Okay. We ended the week at 60.22, basically at the middle of the trend and the baseline. 60.90, 61.26, 61.61. To the south side, 59.50, 59.15, and 58.78. Now for your gap recap. This one has extended for weeks and weeks and weeks here, and that will take us into the following week because it crashed, and now we're finally slowly making our way up in this upward channel. So that'll take us to 67.70. That one closed out. All right. SLB. First, for your price targets. All right, to the north side. 43.45, 43.83, 44.19, 42.71, 41.98, 41.59, and 41.23. This gap opened up last week. We had this tiny little one. This one, when you start looking for gaps, your eyes just see it. It's kind of crazy. This baby, well, no, that closed. So that will extend into this upcoming week. And again, we are in a downward channel. Started off the week at 44.55, ended at 43 bucks. To the north side though, we've got this one. And I think that's the only one I am tracking. So that'll be nice when we finally close it, but we are moving farther away from this target, unfortunately. Next one is Intel. We ended the week at 30.45. 30.54, 30.70, 30.85. To the south side, support 30.22, 29.90, 29.74, and 29.59 is where I bought some shares for my mom. So we've been all over the place. Unfortunately, we are going down still. Now, as far as the gaps from last week, this one opened up right out of the gate and closed right about there on Monday. And this one opened up as well. We gapped down. So when it fills, we anticipate it to fill to the upside. It's hard to see. Let me move that out of the way. You can see right there. Mark it out for yourself. Keep track of it. And we're so close to this. We could bounce and then head down because we will be at support if we close out this gap. It will act as support and resistance as well. Those gaps can. And then we've got a bigger gap to the upside at 34.95. And we are moving away from that, unfortunately. And this is my public service announcement. Hopefully you've had a chance to read that. And if you know anyone in Desert Creek, it's time to drain the swamp and dump Donna Turberg, Richard Ramsey, and Vicky Brancato. Pfizer. I rented the clubhouse for our meeting this past week, and they said that the clubhouse doesn't have good reception. Well, I proved them wrong. I rented the clubhouse to prove that there is reception, that we do have the internet and we do have phone service, and they need to stop moving our meetings away from the clubhouse and back to the clubhouse where they belong, where the people deserve to just walk over to the clubhouse and attend a meeting. How novel is that? If you can't do that, get off the board. And that is my rant. All right, 27.53 is where we ended for Pfizer. And to the north side takes us to resistance, 27.68, 27.81, 27.94. To the south side, support, 27.41, 27.14, 27.01, 26.87. Bounce at support, sell off at resistance. Those are the clear lines. As far as the gaps go, this one touched right here. No longer a threat to our account to the south side. 28.20 is where we filled. Let me delete that. And then look at that. It bounced all the way to resistance and then fell down. So it gave you one last hurrah and then couldn't keep the momentum. Now this gap opened up right out of the gate, and that was 28.55. And is there another target? Oh yeah. We've got this one to the upside at 29.55, and then we have this one taking us to what? 30.34, and that's been in play for quite some time. And oh, we've got one big one up there too, but not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. This is something just to be aware of for giggles should we ever return to the upside. TSLY. $15.08 is where we ended to the north side. $15.45, nice to see this is running along with Tesla to the upside. Although for today we ended, or for the end of the week, we are down, but that's okay. Overall, we're going up. $15.46, $15.93, $16.17, and roughly $16.40. $14.98, $14.74, $14.51. Looking left, let's talk about those gaps. This gap is still in play down to $13.19. We are moving farther away from it, fortunately. What's going on with this one? Oh, yay, this one touched. So you have to go back and clean up your chart. So we touched right here. So that is no longer a threat at 14.62. This one's done as well. But what's going on with this one? Oh, yay, look at this one. So this gap down, we anticipate it to fill on the way up. And there we are. Boom. Delete at 14.70. That's where it began. Ended at 15.21. Delete. And then note we ran all the way up to this red line where I My spidey senses go off. 2 standard deviations is simple, easy target, and we ripped above that, did not sustain, fell back down because that is resistance. People take their profits and they run, they lock in and they leave, and that's what happened. Started to grind sideways. And this gap is still in play, unfortunately. And this one to the upside at 1592. And then we have other gaps to talk about at some other point. One gap at a time within this week. Those gaps are not going to get filled just yet. All right, the next one is RIVN. I've been seeing so many RIVNs around town. It's crazy. I really don't like the headlights. I'm not in love. And I got a little ad in my mailbox about Tesla, I think, offering an APR of 1.99. Unbelievable. I'm registered because I'm on their waiting list for a Cybertruck, and so I get their other emails, and I've never bought a car for 1.99% interest. That just blows my mind. I usually pay off my loans early anyway. Keep them for a very short time. All right, 1088, 1143, 1169, and 1193 to the south side. 1042, 1015, and roughly 989. Looking back from the 10th through the 14th, this line to this line, we ended here. We started here and ended here. This gap opened up and touched right at roughly 1184, continued to bleed out. And this gap will eventually take us to 1533 and then 1776, but not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. We are still going down. Okay, SOFI, this one's a nightmare. Bleeding out here. 646 is where we ended. To the north side, very close to where we are, 652, 687, 705, and roughly 722. To the south side, 617, 599, and 582. Looking left, this gap was a carryover, and we touched right about there on Monday out of the gate. Very nice. And this one gapped up. We anticipated to fill down, and we did, and we touched right there. No longer a threat to our account to the south side. There are plenty of other threats. And note, we hit this line and fell back down to support. Did not bounce off of this line, which can turn into support. All right, this gap is still in play up to 786 there. Let me just extend that. And then we've got another one somewhere all the way up, I think. All right, let's continue. Clip along. NIO. Going down, baby. Watch out. 435, 448, 454, and 461. Got some chloroseptic. Ugh. What is that flavor? Cherry? All right, 423, 416, 410. And looking left from here to here from last week, this is still in play because unfortunately we are going down. That'll take us out to 413. And we could close it out by possibly by maybe Thursday, Friday, if we continue to tank. And this one will take us to 528. Got a bunch of other things, I think, up here. I'll clean that up later. Oh, wait, what did I see over here? Oh, that closed out. All right, that's done. And the last one, TLRY. All right, 171, 177, 180, 183, 165, 162, and 160. We've got this gap here, closing out at 175, no longer in play and no longer a threat to our account to the south side. We have other threats to worry about. And should we ever head back north, that will take us to 212. The 1-year price target is 237, which would actually take us to, let me just mark this out for giggles. 237. If we make it here, we obviously will close this out, but it's going to be torture. They're not going to make it easy, the market makers. All right, that is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of June 17th through the 21st. I hope you have a fantastic trading week.